Jack, we're sat here a few days after the window closed. How did you find it as your first one as a manager?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Interesting, I learnt a lot. I think going into the window, it was important that we were clear with what we were trying to achieve. And there's some ups and downs along the way with that. We had some late nights. But yeah, overall, I think we had a really positive window. We went in clear with what we wanted. We wanted to improve where we could, but not just quantity, we wanted quality. And I feel we've done that. We also got a lot of players out, as everyone saw, and that was important as well because we wanted, I personally wanted players that wanted to be here. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone that went out didn't want to be here. There were a few, and we managed to get them out and bring in players that are hungry to try and help the club get back to where we want to be. But we also had some players that went out that I see as future players for the club, but probably wouldn't get the game time they needed right now. So I think we got that balance good. And yeah, now we can focus on the rest of the season. We can keep an eye on the players that we sent out on loan to see how they're getting on, see how they're improving, see how they're developing, and also to keep some value in some of them as well. So yeah, overall I think we had a good window.
Like you said, noticeably the squad has been cut a bit with 10 going out and only 5 coming in. Was that tighter group something that you wanted?
Yeah, I did, and then I was here probably three and a half months before the window came, and I wanted to spend that 3.5 months, number one, trying to win games, but also assessing the group, feeling what the mood was, feeling the culture, seeing the players that were hungry to try and help us, seeing the players that were happy to just float through until the window came. And I did that. I spent a lot of time with the recruitment team, with the coaches, trying to assess that and speaking about what we think, what we want going forward after January, and it was a smaller group. How many times I spoke about picking a squad here is difficult, and it still is because we're still going to have players over that won't make squads. But it gives them players a real belief, I think, that they are close and they can be involved, and it keeps them hungry.
For you and your coaching staff as well, working with a smaller group, how does that affect just day to day here at training?
Yeah, I think we can give more detail to the players. I think we've worked incredibly hard to try and change the identity of the team or bring an identity to the team, and I think we've done a really good job at doing that. That was again a big focus when we came here, because I thought then it would identify what we did need in January and who they were, and I think we added players that can help that. So I think having a smaller group gives us an opportunity to work more closely, work more individually with the players, and the main thing for me is the hunger. I've spoke about it a lot. You see in this league that a lot of teams, in my opinion, won't have the quality we have, but they have a real hunger to try and win games, to come here and try and win games. And I wanted to keep that in the group. I wanted to add to the group with that, and I think we've done that really well.
A few of the boys that left on deadline day, Marv, with his contract being terminated, to be able to move on and leaves as a legend of the club, and Brownie and Rue leaving on loan as well. Yeah,
so Marv is someone who brought so much energy to the group. Obviously didn't quite work out for him this year here, but yeah, everyone at the club loved Marv. As soon as I walked through the door, they told me about him. I obviously know the history and what he achieved here in helping the club get into the Premier League, and how important he was for that. So yeah, I had nothing but positive words to say about Marv, and wish him really well with whatever he has next. Obviously Sheffield Wednesday, and he's a good player. He'll go there and help them. With Rue, again, he hasn't played the minutes here that he wanted to, and he was one that, for him to develop and him to go on to have a career in the game, he needs to go out and play. He needs to go out and play games, and go through tough periods, play game after game, play Saturday, Tuesday, and in this season he probably wouldn't have got the opportunity to do that here. And same with Brownie. Brownie's a player who I have a lot of respect for. You know, he came back from a tough injury, a similar injury to actually what I had. So we spent a lot of time talking about it, and it was clear that he wanted to get out and play football. And yeah, good luck to him. He's obviously gone up a league, which helps us as well, keep value in him. And I wish him well. It's tough when you come back from injuries, and I hope he finds his confidence. I hope he finds his form again. And yeah, good luck to all three of them.
It's like you said there, some of the outs that have gone out on loan are for their own individual reasons, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And you know, there's some that, you know, we want to keep the value in. We want to develop. We want to see where they are at the end of the season if they can come back. There's some, in my opinion, that couldn't do what we were asking them to do. But you know, football changes quickly, and you know, ultimately, if we get the goal that we want, which is promotion, the team probably looks a little bit different next year, and then certain players that have gone out on loan will probably be able to help us. So yeah, all that come into thinking, and that's why it was so important. We were all aligned with our thinking, and the recruitment team and us and the coaches sitting down and spending time talking about that and identifying where we could add, if we can add, because also you know, looking from afar before and spending a little bit of time last season involved in it. I knew this is a tough market in January, and things seem to happen late, and you know, there's stuff that happened that are just completely out of the blue. So we had to be ready for that as well, but we also had to be clear with what we wanted.
And talk to me about the two new incomings on deadline day, starting with Sver.
Yes, Sver was someone that we kept track of the whole market. You know, he was flagged up through data before. Yeah, I watched lots and lots of his games and clips, and spoke to some pretty good Norwegian players about him and what they know about him, and if they know anyone who knows him. And then of course we met him and tried to show him who we are and teach him who we are and what we want, but also learn a little bit about him. And he is a guy that's incredibly hungry, incredibly talented, but also incredibly hungry, which I wanted, as I said, from the start. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what he brings to the team. He's a holding midfielder, number 6 or number 4, some people may know it as, but he's different to what we've got at the moment. Obviously Wilshere has been excellent in there for us, and you know, has the ability to dictate games, and he's a slightly different player that adds something different. And you know, I speak all the time about having variation, and you know, what it takes to go away from home. Sometimes you need a little bit different approach. So yeah, Severe is someone who's going to help us massively. He's obviously, his season is finished in November, I think, so he's been through a pre-season, and he's probably not quite ready just to step in straight away into this intense league, but he'll be very soon in and around it, and he can help us.
And a word on Davy van den Berg.
Yeah, Davy was, you know, someone that I know and I've been aware of. You know, when I think you're involved in youth football and you're around kind of the under-19s Champions League, and you look at the history of it, and then when someone stands out in that, you keep an eye on them, and everyone will know the way that the Dutch develop players. I believe is the right way with the ball, technical players that can make something happen. And I think at times we've lacked that a little bit. You know, we've got some players in there that have helped us massively. I think about Clicker and Gids going inside, but we also need to help them players as well. And he's someone who has a lot of quality. Again, he you know, he's been frustrated with the lack of game times that he's had, and we need to build him up. He's ready, he's trained with the group, but we need to build him up, and we need to take our time with him, because we want him to help us for the rest of the season.
Is there any chance on deadline day? There was a lot of rumours flying around of one more maybe coming in.
Yeah, we were clear, and you know, deadline day. First of all, I gave the players off from the weekend because of the week we had last week. You know, I thought they gave so much, and emotionally it was tough. You know, we lost 2 games, and then we had to bounce back and win the game on Saturday. So we gave the players off. Some players came in to train, and you know, we had a good session out there with the players who needed it, like Jake Richards, Izzy Jones, players that are on their way back. And then I was straight over to headquarters to see what was going on and see if there was anything that we could potentially get done. And you know, again, it was important that we was all aligned. There was one or two we were looking at, but we weren't going to bring in someone just for another number. I wanted players that can come into the team, add quality, add hunger, and that didn't quite materialise. We were keeping our eye on one or two, but it didn't happen. And I was more than happy to be in a position where we have this group we have now, rather than just adding a body for the sake of it.
And you spoke about the two on deadline day. Devante, will he be ready to go as soon as possible?
Yeah, Devante, sorry, he was one who came in and trained Monday as well, because I think his last session was probably a week ago with Port Vale, so we wanted to get him in. He trained Monday, Tuesday, had today off Wednesday. Yeah, and he'll be ready for the weekend. He's played a lot of minutes this season. He's a robust kid who's played a lot of games in his career, and he's hungry to go. He's hungry to try and help the team. I think he was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't last weekend, but I think that only adds to his hunger and his determination to have a good week and you know, on Saturday start in the right way and try and help the team.
Now the window's shut, I guess you're just kind of happy that this is it now and you can just put full focus into the remainder of the campaign.
Yeah, and I said that to the players on Tuesday. Yesterday we had a really good session. The energy was up, and I think that is probably part of the reason. You know, I've been there as a player as well when January comes around, and you know, I've never been involved in a January transfer, but I've played with players that have, and they weren't sure if they were going to be here. They weren't sure if they were moving on. It's kind of like a domino effect as well, and even more so in League One, I've learned, because you're a little bit further down the food chain, and you know, something needs to happen there for it to happen there, and we had a few players that were caught in between that, and that creates something in the group. And yeah, I was happy that it was closed, and I told the players that, and we know what we have to do now. I think we've got 17 games left. We got the win we wanted on Saturday, but we have to go again this weekend and against a good team that are right up there, and then yeah, we have to look forward to the rest of the season, knowing we've got what we've got.